Hello everyone, welcome back to Be10x Learning. And today we are going to see an important topic, that is cross-field validation. Okay, and some people they may refer as inter-field validation. So whether it's a cross-field validation or a inter-field validation, what it does means it's a technique. Okay, mostly it is used in data validation and where the values of the multiple fields are checked in relation to each other. Okay, like for example, if I'm giving the date of 24 means my date of birth should be correct. That means like it should not be something else. Okay, I should not enter some other value in year of my birth. That means the date of the birth of the year, and I should not mention the age as different. So these type of what to say validations it should perform actually. So as I said, like it will check whether the values are related to each other to ensure that the combined values make logical sense. Okay, so I'll be using ChatGPT to explain. Okay, so that anyone can understand this. Okay, so I'll be going to ChatGPT, explain cross field validation, cross field validation with the basic example for Python beginners and give a Python code. Okay, so let's see. So cross validation is a concept. Okay. So it's giving. By the meantime, guys, I would like to share an important update. Okay. As you all aware that AI is taking over the world in such a short span of time, we have seen many layoffs, millions of jobs replaced by AI. And you don't want to get affected by this recession wave. So AI won't replace you, but the person using AI will replace your job. So if you want to save your job and become irreplaceable in your career, join our 3 hours AI tools workshop in which we will teach you about the best AI tools to upskill, increase your productivity and enhance your career. All the installation steps and other AI tools will be explained in detail in our Be10x program. So make your future secure with us. Join our workshop by clicking the link below in the description. Okay, so the it will be like this. Okay, if I go over to this Be10x, log into the be10x.in. Okay, and you can see like there will be a lot of like workshops, the upcoming workshop like AI tools workshop and office hacks, Power BI. Okay, so if I'm registering here, okay, when will be the next? Okay, like who will be the mentors, and you can see the reviews. Okay, and why to join this course and what you will be benefited. Okay, so all the details are there, so don't miss to join this course. Let's go back to our part. Okay,
Happy New Year! If your resolution for 2024 is getting accelerated career growth along with a good salary hike, then you are at right place. If you want to do the same, you should be learning ChatGPT and AI tools and how you can integrate them for your own advantage.
so here, okay, so cross-field validation is a concept in programming where you validate data across multiple fields. Okay, as I said, okay, instead of validating each field in isolation. That's what I said, like here, okay, like start date, end date. Okay, so it is giving, okay, we will see the thing. Instead of validating each field in isolation, this approach is particularly useful when the validity of one field depends on the value of the another field. Okay, now you might have got it actually. Okay, so let's consider a basic example to illustrate this concept. Suppose we have a form that requires a user to input a start date and an end date. Okay, that is also a good example, right? Like that means what the end date should not be like earlier than the start date, right? So the validity of the end date depends on the start date, especially the end date must not earlier than the start date. Okay, so that is the point. It could be other way also, right? For example, you get age, right? 24 means if you are born in 2000 2000 and now the current year is 2024 means that is fine, right? So I cannot make like I was born in the date of birth year is 1989 and now the current year is 2024 and I cannot mention like 24. That could be typo, right? When we so that type of issues should be resolved, right? So that it should give the proper validation error. Okay, so here you might implement this in the Python. So it is giving the, you can use the copy code, okay, and took for copying this, and from date time import date time, definition validate date, start date, end date. So it is giving the doc string. That means it is like it is giving some explanation like what it is doing. It validates that the end date is not earlier than the start date, and it is giving all the information. Start date is equal to date dot time, and it is giving the format what it should be, and the end date is equal to, and also it is giving if end date is greater than start date, okay, that is true, okay, return true, else false, okay. So then it will be, we are giving this example, right? We are giving the start date as so and so, and we are giving the end date as so and so. You can make it to ask, you can input it, that also you can adjust the prompt, okay. If validate dates, okay, so it is calling over here, this is the definition, and we are calling this a function start date end date. It will do this process, okay, and it will return, okay. That means if it is true means dates are valid, else dates is cannot be earlier than the start date. So that's what it is giving the detailed explanation, right? The function validate date takes two string arguments, start date string and end date string, each representing a date. It first converts the string representations into datetime objects. Then it checks if the end date is not earlier than the start date. If this condition is met, the function returns true, indicating that the validation passed. Otherwise, it returns false. Okay, and this is a basic example of cross validation where the validity of one field is dependent on the validity of other field. Okay, so if you would like to means like do much more hands-on of these type of examples, you can ask. Give me a another example of cross field validation. Okay, so you can ask another. Okay, let's consider another example. Registration forms that requires a user's age and a consent checkbox for users below certain age. Okay, so it's giving the scenario. The form has two fields. Age is numeric input, parental consent checkbox. The rule for validation is if the user is below 18 years old, parental consent must be checked. The user is older, parental consent is not required. Okay, so for that also you can do actually. Okay, or the same process you can try actually. Registration is required or not, like that. The validation register takes two arguments, age, consent. Even true indicates consent is given, false indicates it is not. The function checks if the user is below 18, and if parental consent is not given. If both these conditions are true, the registration is invalid. Okay, yeah, and if the functions returns false. Okay, the example showcase cross-field validation where the validity of the registration depends on the relationship between user's age and status on the parental consents. Okay, and mainly this will be used in data analysis. Okay, data analysis and data validation part, you will come across this. Okay, so you can work on different scenarios, right? And you can give different prompts and you can execute it, because now here the start date and end date, it has been what is it, like a hard print. That means it has been embedded inside the chat gpt has provided the date, but you can make such that it should accept the input from the user. Like that you can means rephrase the prompt, or you can fine tune the prompt. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this session, guys. Okay, take care, bye bye.